Most of our boys are vulnerable because most of the time the fathers are not present for them. What impact can women bring or lessons in the absence of the father figure? That's very true. Most of our sons are vulnerable because their fathers are not present for them. What can women do for the sake of our sons? I can understand what you're saying. This is very true. So there are certain, I will respond in terms of, stages, in terms of why is the father not available? So, is that a question or prayer? Okay. So the thing is this. We normally say this way. A woman can convert an embryo into a boy, but a woman cannot bring a man out of a boy. That's not possible. A woman cannot teach a boy how to be a man because she doesn't know. But she can convert an embryo into a boy, but not a boy into a man. So there are many reasons why the father may not be there. Number one is that the father may have died. Because, we have seen that men die earlier, okay? The research actually shows that in Kenya, by the age of 45, 6 out of 10 women will be single parents. 6 out of 10 women will be single parents. So you are likely to see women raising children alone than the other way. So there are men who may die, so because men die earlier, so women may be widowed. Number two, because of parental divorce or separation. When parents divorce or separate, the woman remains with the children. Sometimes it can also be because the father is working away or the father has to put in a lot of work hours. It can also be that the father does not know how to be there for the children. They can be there physically, but emotionally they are not there, isn't it? They are there. I wonder, maybe I want to challenge fathers. Do you know your son's best friend? Do you know their friend? Do you know what your child likes? Do you know what your child likes, what your child would rather do most of the time? So sometimes some fathers can be there physically, but emotionally they are not there because they did not know. They never learned how to be emotionally present, okay? So this is a case where they may not be there. Sometimes there are fathers who have abandoned. These are broken men. They get children, they disappear. They abandon their children. And they never turn back to go and take care of their children. So this question is being asked in case of a mother. The mother is there. What can she do? What a mother can do is she can introduce role models to her son. You can introduce godly role models. Maybe from church, maybe from the neighborhood, maybe from your family. You can get a man who you can introduce to mentor your son. If that's not possible, because sometimes it's not possible, you can talk to your son about the great men, even in history. You can talk to them about King David, about Joseph, about Daniel. You can talk to them about their grandparents who are great men. By the way, you will be amazed when you talk to your son about their grandfather who was a great man. It means a lot to them. One time I was talking to our elder son, I was talking to our sons about my grandfather, my maternal grandfather. My maternal grandfather had very nice hair. We used to know him because of his hair. And he never used to shave. He had a lot of black, nice hair. And a nice smooth skin. And he was a tall and strong man. So I used to talk to him and I would sometimes tell my firstborn son, you look like my grandfather. Even when he goes home, my mother says, this is my father because he looks like my grandfather. And so at some point I told them that my grandfather was a herdsman in Lord Delamere's farm. Lord Delamere's farm? My grandfather worked for him. I'm not sure whether he did or I'm imagining, but I think I heard that story. It doesn't matter. But I told him that story. So one time we had attended a camp and we were talking about facts about ourselves. And our son said, you may never know. We were talking about things about yourself which people may not know. What are the things, unique things about yourself which people may not know? And our son said that my maternal grandfather worked in Lord Delamere's farm. It It's something I had forgotten. It was just a story. So anytime, we talk, he's really eager to hear this grandfather. What did he do? We say he was a strong man, he used to go and hunt and do everything. And you can see. And now, I don't know whether it's because of that I said or not, our eldest son has refused to shave his hair. And so his hair, because we said, some people know him, and because we said, the way I would tell him, you are the one who took our grandfather's hair. And when I gave birth to him in hospital, the nurses asked me, Mama, how can you waste such hair on a son? Because he came out with so much black hair. They said, Mama, you've given birth to a son, and you've given a son such hair. How can you waste such hair on a son? So, and I said, no, even a son can have such beautiful hair. He will give his daughters. So my son, I don't know whether it was because of that, but maybe other reasons. Our son has refused to shave his hair, and his hair reaches almost here. If you know him, you will know that I'm telling you. So sometimes he even makes it like Samson. The braids, the 7 locks, I don't know whatever that is. But he has a lot of hair, even beard. And I noticed that he's using some special oils for his hair and his beard. Olive oil. And I said, my son, bring that olive oil. We eat it in salad. How can you go... No. How can you go and buy? He goes and buys olive oil. Olive oil to pour on his hair. And I'm saying, please, my son, bring that olive oil. You can put it in salad and eat it inside. Then the hair will grow. He says, no, I'm treating my hair well. But one thing I know is that we kept on talking about how he's like my grandfather. We'd say, your skin is so smooth, just like my grandfather. So the point I'm saying is, there are great men that you know, even in your family. They are not perfect. Nobody is perfect, but they are great men. If you start telling them about some of the values those great men had, the children will eventually begin to grow in the similitude of those great men. When I'm counseling teenage boys, normally I would ask the mothers or fathers, but mostly it's mothers who bring them to me. I will ask them, can you tell me something about your family lineage? Tell me about your grandparents. And one mother told me, by the way, my grandfather was a chief, was a colonial chief, a great man. So I went and I told the son, I was counseling him, I told him, do you realize your great-grandfather was a colonial chief? He said, he was? I said, you are of royal blood. You are ahead of the pack. You cannot be scratching with the chicken. You fly with the eagles. Your grandfather was a chief. And the boy looked at me, the eyes wide open. And the mother asked me, what did you do to my son? What did you do? I said, what? You just talked to my son. Things have completely changed. I said, I just invoked what you told me. I said, your great-grandfather was a chief. You cannot be here struggling with chicken. I'm not calling people chicken. But I said, you were made to be an eagle. You fly high. You've taken after your great-grandfather, So tell them about some of the great men in history, in the Bible, or even other men in the world, or especially men in your lineage, because I know there are people like that. So when you say that, you can inspire your son for greatness. But as much as possible, if you are able to introduce them to godly role models, uncles, grandfathers, cousins, men in the church, men in the neighborhood. But again, you have to ensure that it's somebody who has values that you want your son to pick. I hope that helps you.